So I know we spoke last time a little bit about your about what you used to listen to in high school and that sort of stuff, and you sort of touched on it just before. But yourself and Tom, you're big metal fans. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. I guess that sort of cropped about in high school, as it does for most metal fans, and I guess we can probably thank one of our neighbours, Grant, who played guitar, and we all, he was a couple of years older than us, and he was better than us, and we were like, wow, Grant's awesome, whatever Grant says, we take as gospel, and so he'd lend us a lot of these CDs, and it was basically at Kingston High where we went. It was Metallica, Pantera, Iron Maiden. That's pretty much the trinity there. Might be a few, your Sepulturas, Slipknot was up and about then. When we were in high school, the bands of the day was like Limp Bizkit and Korn and stuff like that, which we were like, we didn't have a bar of because we were religious to the old school Metallica,
metal, actual metal,
but actually I saw a funny, not funny, I genuinely respected it, modern day Fred Durst.
Right.
So like must have been like a couple of months ago or something. They're playing a big festival, sounded awesome. But Fred Durst, like, I've only ever seen him like in red backwards cap and the classic look.
White t-shirt.
Basically, he's got just a grey hair and like a sensible, almost comb over. He was just wearing like sensible slacks and like a checked shirt, like a kind of look like an old Southern granddad. But like just singing the Limp Bizkit songs and doing a gig.
Yeah.
I was like, this is really weird, but I really enjoyed that for some reason. So I really recommend checking out modern day Fred Durst. It's very, very cool.
Yeah. And I was listening to a live version of a Stained song the other day with Aaron Lewis. Obviously singing country now, used to be in the metal and that as well, but I really enjoy Stained. And I was listening to a live version of one of their songs, and it was featuring Fred Durst, and I was like, okay, well, when's Fred Durst coming in? Because I hadn't actually heard him, and then every now and then in the background you hear, "It's the real deal, y'all," and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What the fuck, like, dude, are you actually going to sing anything? And it was just like a little sort of, I don't know, it was a little moment for him where he was just he must have been on the side of the stage just dancing or doing something, because I don't think he added any real value.
Such a funny time, mate. Like that. Yeah. There was that song. There was the height of that whole thing was there was a song like Limp Bizkit versus Korn.
Yeah,
and it was just like dissing each other on this song.
Yeah,
and that. What a time! Wow, like
because I was actually into Limp Bizkit because we were, we used to love skating around, and we were either on BMX bikes or skateboarding and that sort of stuff. And I used to hang out with my brother and his mates a little bit, which are a couple of years older, and they're all listening to Limp Bizkit and Slipknot and that sort of thing. And it was just sort of that sort of rebel punk sort of vibe. Dudes are just destroying shit wherever they go, and I'm just sort of like, okay, that's cool, I guess. Like maybe,
Yeah.
And but that Significant Other album, I remember that one pretty clearly because that was
like a standard issue, like everyone
pretty much
had that one.
Yeah, and then Chocolate Starfish came out, and it was like, I don't know, I didn't really listen to it much after that. It was a little too much, I started going into a bit more of a punk scene than the punk metal type deal with
okay.
Stuff.
Yeah. The other album from that time that like every kid had like was that Offspring one.
Americana.
Yeah.
Like
I swear, like everyone in Australia had that album. Like, I think that's the other thing. When CDs were such a thing, they'd work it out so they'd sell it coming into Christmas, and they must have sold some product like that. Because mum, dad, like, what are we going to get, bloody
sanity vouchers?
The young fella. kids are buying this, like they would have sold so many records like that. I mean, I literally got that album for Christmas. Like I had no other offspring, and it was kind of a bit off, because Tom and I we were really into Metallica and stuff like that. But mum and dad, they didn't.
It's hot right now.
They try and they'll try their best. Like this looks, it had skulls on it and stuff. So I thought this must be metal.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, listen. So this is the first album I got was Hanson. And I'm like, oh man. So, but I mean, I was like friggin' probably 6 years old or something. So I don't know, it probably made sense then. But then I remember getting, I think the next I got like Backstreet Boys and that, which now I look back, man, that's a good album. That Backstreet's Back. That gets pumped at any parties, and I get into it. I'm like, that's a rad song. But I remember my brother got Metallica Reload, and I got given Smash Mouth. The fuck? You got Metallica, and I got Smash Mouth All Star.
Yeah, ripped there. Oh, yeah. Smash Mouth, man. That's one of that bands. Like, okay, you had it, but I was like, I don't know anyone who actively listens to this.
Yeah.
It's always on the radio.
Yeah.
Do people genuinely have these albums? Like people are into this. Like, I mean, it sounds so harsh, but yeah.
Nephews and that sort of stuff. They're the ones that were actually buying them, thinking people wanted them.
Yeah.
Sorry, whoever bought me that album. I feel bad now. I feel ungrateful. Oh man. And so with metal and that sort of stuff, did you play in any metal bands growing up?
Yeah, we did. Casey, who used to drum for us, and I were in a metal band in sort of grade 9 and 10 in Kingston High. I think we were called Amenhotep, which is some sort of, Egyptian pharaoh, or, it's one of those metal names, the, spiky sort of writing, all that sort of shit. No. We went in a battle of the bands. There's a video I've got of that, which is amazing. Other people are playing sort of Limp Bizkit, Korn, those sorts of things. Blink-182, and then we come on, in black t-shirts and stuff, and just all these bogans like just run it in from the side of the screen, and like mothers are like taking their children out, and like it's just absolutely hilarious. But yeah, I mean, I'm love that we went through that, because it really did kind of get our chops up on guitar and all that sort of stuff. And granted, there's a lot of holes left in my musical knowledge that weren't filled by metal, but it definitely, I suppose, got my skills up, and I was able to play a lot faster and all those sorts of things. And I guess when I was learning metal and learning the solos and all that sort of stuff, I can really look back and know that's where my guitar playing just made its biggest leap, I'd say. You know.
Did you guys have MySpace and have like a little band account?
No, the internet wasn't that great down the farm back in the day, and so really, really struggled with all that. I think we had not for the metal band, but for early Wolfe Brothers, there might have been a MySpace. It probably still is. I don't know if we can still. I'll have to look that up later.
Honestly, so the other day we were just chatting about a guy that I work with in the army. He used to be in a band and was talking about MySpace, and I was like, bro, I've got to go and check out this. I'm going to see if our stuff's still up. And you go on, you log on, and somehow I remembered my login and stuff. I think I couldn't remember it for the band account, but I could remember it for my personal one. And I logged on and I checked out Counterfeit was the band name.
Yeah,
and, we were playing sort of like grungy metal. I don't even.
That's a solid name for that. I totally get the vibe in that name.
Yeah, it was sort of like I don't know, but we jumped on to have a look, and the music player's there and the songs are there, but you can't actually play them. For some reason, it won't play them.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up reaching out to one of my mates, because after that, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I just wanted to hear it, just because I want to hear how bad it was.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Because I remember the recordings weren't great. We had the school recording studio, and I had a pretty average drum setup back then. I couldn't really afford anything decent, and I think even one of the cymbals was just a Pearl cymbal that came with the kit. And then there was like a random crash, like 16-inch crash pasty that was, used for like marching bands and shit. And then I'm sitting there using it for my, sort of punk metal.
May as well have been, a trash can lid sort of thing.
Oh yeah. But I remember we were really tight. Like we had a tight band that the music teacher sort of used to let us come in before school and after school and let us use the studio. And then they finally got Pro Tools just as we were like leaving high school. And they're like, guys, you'll have time to be able to record a few songs before you leave. And then the dude that was installing it, I don't know, everything crashed. It fell. He had it high up on these benches, and it all fell.
Oh God!
Destroyed it somehow, and we never got to record. So all we were left with was these dodgy ass recordings. I don't know what what.
It could have been so different. What if that didn't fall down? You counterfeit could be like.
Could have been traveling the world.
Could have been big. We'll never know. Thanks to that guy. Far out.
I know, right?
Jeez.
But there's a lot of other local bands that I'd love to listen to again. Like I reached out to my mate after that I used to play guitar with, and he was a guitarist in the band, and I said, dude, have you got these like on old MP3 or iTunes or something? But so he's actually trying to track them down, and one day if I can get him, I'll throw him on the podcast and just I don't know, show people what I used to do. It was pretty.
That's great, yeah. That'd be awesome.
It'd be a good little throwback, I reckon.
That's good. Every now and again, we're very much hoarders down at the farm, and there's a lot of old, mum and Tom's recently redone the farmhouse, so him and Ali and little Evie have moved in there, and in that process, I've had to clean out, generations of shit that's just been kept, and mum went down there and she found old lyric books of mine from, I don't really know when they were from. I'm guessing kind of out of high school, a couple of years, maybe that sort of area.
Yeah.
And there was one, it was just so bad, and it said like the song was called "Welcome to the Barbecue."
Welcome to the barbecue. Hopefully you weren't barbecuing alone.
It was like something like, I can't believe I'm telling you this, but it was like, "Welcome to the barbecue. Come on in and have a few, maybe one or maybe two. Welcome to the barbecue." Oh my God.
That's so good. That's so good. You write it in your room or something like that by yourself, probably, and we're just like,
so bad. But yeah. Anyway, it's a bit of a laugh.
So I remember when we used to write lyrics, all we do was write a bunch of like cool lines on paper, and then we'd chop them up and then just like see which ones fit together. So we'd have like lines like all over the floor. And we'd just be like sort of putting a puzzle together, like, oh yeah, that sounds pretty cool. The songs made no sense whatsoever, but they sounded cool. Well, to us they did anyway. How do you guys put?
I might have to try that method.
Yeah, I know. Like if you ever get stuck for lyrics, just write a heap of random ones down and then just sort of fit them in where you can. Be like, that fits pretty good there. I'm sure there's plenty of people that still do that. Ones. Let's be real.
Well, there's no rules. I mean, in an ideal world, when we write, this is the ideal way. It doesn't usually happen like this, but we'd love to have a title we're really excited about. We may not know how the total idea is formulated yet, but we'll kind of reverse engineer it. So we'll have that title. Let's say it's "Welcome to the Barbecue," for example. You'd figure out what, and in country, as you know, usually the choruses end with that title.
Yeah.
Stop. Welcome to the barbecue.
Yeah.
Back into it. That's kind of the format. So we'll figure out what that punchline is, what that hook is, and then kind of build back from there. That's the ideal way. It doesn't always happen like that. Rarely does actually, but I find it's good to start there, because then you don't get you could sit down and, to me, I could sit down at any time and start writing a verse about anything. But it's really hard to make it a good song, because you just, if you don't know where you're headed, you just go off on all these different tangents. It's very hard to bring it back in a short amount of words and lines that you have.
Yeah, that's true.
And make it into to direct you to that big "Welcome to the Barbecue" hook.
Dude, I feel like you've got something here. I reckon you should try and dig that up and make a TikTok out of it or something. Maybe chuck like I don't know, some old school clothes on you from the 90s or something like that. And then just like sit there and